very unfortunate. And I was attacked. Let me go back a bit. When the Juba process was on, these young children don't know. They were already in captivity. They were suffering. They were being tortured by the very blood of Uganda. Not a white man, not a brown man, not a yellow man. No, a fellow Uganda was torturing them. In the Juba peace process, many of us who are concerned looked it through their agreements they were coming out with. And we spotted one area. No one, not Uganda government, not LRA team, were talking about these people, about the communities that had suffered. My sister and many of us are aware when the Agenda 3 came up. Nothing was mentioned about the victims, the grass that suffered. Then we said, no, we must raise up the voices of these people. Then came into being Uganda Victims' Rights Working Group. That's the... You get the picture. So that is it. Now, I want to say this. Countries that are signatories to the Rome Statute are meant to cooperate with one another to arrest the suspected perpetrators. But there are countries in the world that have also refused to become signatories to the Rome Statute. And therefore, they can easily, give refuge to any perpetrator. For example, Sudan is not a signatory. Ethiopia is not a signatory. Let me mention the closer ones to us. Eritrea is not a signatory. Therefore, one can easily say, okay, I'm now going where? To Ethiopia, or I'm going to Eritrea, or I'm going to stay in Sudan. And that is it. He gets a cover because these people don't honor the Rome Statute. They are not signatories. And that's where ICC can easily fail in its jurisdiction because a criminal can go there and hide there, and that's them. Have I answered
what
you?
should be done?
The assemblies of state parties have been discussing this issue. And the UN system is also urging everybody, every state, to become a signatory to the Rome Statute, so that, together as a civilized world, we boot out inhuman treatment of citizens of every country, particularly by a few criminal elements that cause these three forms of crimes: war crimes, crimes against humanity, and genocide.
Yes, Pastor, you also talked about politicians who have exploited the disunity and the fragmented the society. Yes, what needs to be done maybe right now as victims are existing?
Yeah, I talked about that because you'll find a politician will swing to decide where he or she thinks will get votes. If it is the side of those who say no to ICC, he will swing there so that he gains vote. But if he hears that everybody say, yes, we want ICC, we want ICC, he has to swing there. You get what I mean? So, they use the situation for their political expedience. And that's a very dangerous situation. That's why we in the civil society fraternity, we come out and give the middle ground and say, look, let us be firm on this, on this, on this. Rather than us also vacillating between yes and no. Yeah.
What are some of the challenges do you face as you victims now?
No, I'm not a victim, but I work for victims' rights.
Yeah.
Okay? The challenges are, we who are advocating for the rights of victims have many times been confronted by one party or the other. For example, some of them said we should not inform the victims of their rights. And we have been on the firing line many times. Yes, that is a challenge. You are trying to say you have a right, you as victims of war. But others say, don't tell them. Why are you telling them? Who has ordained you to tell them? You get the idea. You get the point. So that is where we have challenges. Challenge number 2, in our effort to raise awareness of the victims on their rights, we have the financial handicap. As small organizations, you need to go to the powerful donor communities to give you money, but they will give you conditions to fulfill that. Sometimes the smaller communities, that NGOs that are working with the communities cannot afford. Like, for example, they say you must give your financial audit of the last 3 years. And this is a small CBO that is doing very great job with the affected communities, but cannot raise all that condition. And the best thing is to do it in the small way that organization can. And those are challenges that we are facing.
Okay, as civil society, any specific opportunities this People's Space provides to you?
Yes. The People's Space has provided civil society with opportunities to highlight the issues that they are advocating for, to bring to bear the voices of the affected communities and the victims. For example, we in Uganda Victims Foundation, through the assistance of Redress Trust International, No Peace Without Justice, we were assisted. First, they built our capacities. Second, they funded the football match, in which we brought from the north and the northeast over 1,000 victims that played a football match with the head of state of Uganda and the topmost UN executive, that is the UN Secretary General. That is the opportunity that we saw, that we exploited. And today, you're hearing the women's issues are coming up, the world is coming. Like the president of Assembly of State Parties came here in the women's dialogue. Today, other delegates are here to hear the children. And those are the opportunities we have exploited to my excitement.
Any anticipations from what is happening in the...
Go ahead.
Any anticipations from what is happening in the State of Assembly members meeting that you would think the NGOs would exploit to better the welfare of the victims?
Yes. Already, right now, as we are down here, one thing is that the civil society organizations seem to have outnumbered the very, very state delegates. If you go up in the conference hall, and they are bringing out the issues of victims. They are bringing out issues that the state parties never thought about. And the issues that are at the top of the agenda are the issues of the victims and the victim communities. And that is what chance we have already exploited in this review conference.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, my son.